Well, one of the things that Tucker said in the intro at one of his events was, we don't need to know these people's motivations. We can just look at the results of their policies and we can infer the motivation. And the results for decades in a row is to disempower men, to emasculate them, to tell them that they're toxic, to tell them that they're powerless. And again, my personal concern is not how people vote.
It's kind of amazing. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, how sad from an American standpoint. Like, look, people that are from the LGBTQ community, I have zero problem with those people. Matter of fact, I have some really good friends that are gay and lesbian. I mean, they're just, and some of the nicest freaking people you'll ever meet in your life are gay and lesbian. So let's just be honest. I mean, there's
good and bad people in every single group you can imagine. I don't think
totally,
the group is very much
100%. Like but what pains me is that when you have the LGBTQ flag being flown on the White House as transgender and all these crazy people are running across the lawn, exposing their breasts and doing all these things. I mean, this is all documented stuff. I mean, this happened. And where's the outrage, man? I mean, like, why are people not completely appalled by this type of behavior, presidential feeling? Like, this is our White House, for God's sakes, right?
Yeah. And one of the primary functions of a flag is to demarcate territory, right? Right. So when you think about it that way, it's a whole different angle. And again, as the good point you made earlier, speaking of the activist movement, not the individuals that it claims to speak for, right? Because I know many people who are part of that community who certainly don't consider themselves part of that that movement. But I had a thought and now it's disappeared.
I just think we're the world is like, something's happening right now. I mean, we were both at Tucker Carlson the other night, right, a couple of weeks ago, and you've been traveling across the nation with Tucker, and hopefully we'll get into that a little bit. But I'll tell you, man, I mean, the world, there's so many crazy things happening right now. It's so sad. I mean, especially Tucker was talking about how he was from Southern California. I mean, and he's just going, it doesn't look the same that it was when I was a kid. And to me, I love California. I mean, I'm a native Californian and I've lived here all my life. I love California. I just feel very sad that we've taken the greatest weather in the world. We've taken the greatest, some of the greatest beaches in the world. We've taken some of the greatest economic successes in the world, and we're just crapping on them.
Yeah. And I found my thought from before, which is relevant to this too. I think, kind of underlying all of this is a weak population, right? And politics, in my mind, is always downstream of culture. And when you have a culture that's been trained out of having any beliefs, and their minds have been so degraded that a large segment of the population can look you dead in the face and say, men and women don't exist. There's no such thing as a man or a woman. It's simply how you identify. When the fundamental differentiations and definitions that we use to categorize the world around us have been degraded to such a point where even something as fundamental as male and female no longer exists, there's no part of you that can say, no, I can recognize when things are right and wrong. I recognize good and evil. I can differentiate good and evil, because that part of your ability to, that divine discernment, our ability to judge with love and with integrity and with clarity, it's been eliminated consciously. And so the population has no expectations, right? We don't demand integrity from our politicians. And when a politician with integrity does show up, like RFK, for example, and policy-wise, I would be less aligned with him on many things than some other people, but that's a man of incredible integrity. And no one cares. I mean, people do, right? But it's a very small percentage of the population. And what we think is integrity is people who say nice things, right? Justin Trudeau. And if you say nice things, that's really the only expectation we have. We don't care if you actually do the things you say you're going to do. We don't care if you have results that improve people's lives. We don't care if you keep us safe. We don't care if the cities are covered in human feces and needles and there's crime everywhere, and 911, you get an answering machine and they maybe call you back or maybe not. None of that seems to matter to enough of the population that we actually expect our politicians to make changes for us. And so I'm still involved politically with individuals that are in the political process, but I exited myself from the political process because I don't think that's where change is going to take place. And that's part of why I work with men. And I don't know of the, hundreds of men in our coaching program. I don't know how 99.9% of them are planning on voting because it's not what we talk about. But if I can help them heal themselves, become strength, learn how to love fully, that's where I think the solution to all of this comes. Because right now, people with no vision, no direction, no sense of their own integrity, no trust in themselves, no respect for themselves, that's what leads to all these societal problems that we're seeing right now.
Wow, that's powerful, man. Well said.
Thank you.
This is why though, and I want you to give your thoughts on this. This is why the political system is emasculating men. Would you agree?
100%. The greatest threat to tyranny is always men, and specifically young men. And Andrew Tate, who I don't really like, I love a lot of what he says, and I have the same sense of humor as him. So none of that stuff bothers me. I find all of his off-color jokes hilarious. I don't like a lot of his advice on women and relationships because my job is to help people have long-term fulfilling monogamous relationships. So you can see where we're pretty obviously misaligned. But that's why he's being attacked so much, is he's creating strong young men. And there is absolutely an attack on the very idea of men, the very idea of masculinity. And I don't think any of our societal problems are going to get solved until individual men wake up, start getting their own shit together, start getting their act in the family together, start creating healthier children, healthier homes, healthier neighborhoods, healthier states, healthier nations. But everything. Well, one of the things that Tucker said in the intro at one of his events was, we don't need to know these people's motivations. We can just look at the results of their policies and we can infer the motivation. And the results for decades in a row is to disempower men, to emasculate them, to tell them that they're toxic, to tell them that they're powerless. And again, my personal concern is not how people vote. If people wake up and find their own sense of integrity, find their own sense of purpose, learn to live from a place of strength and freedom and love, whatever they do is going to make the world a better, richer, more beautiful place. But that idea of a strong, loving man is almost anathema to what we see in popular media and in politics and everywhere else. So it's an uphill battle.
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here.